Sustainable harnessing and advancement of nuclear energy for transforming India Bill 2025. The bill was listed in the revised list of business for today, subject to receipt of President's recommendation required under Article 117(3) of the same Constitution. The same has been received. Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji to move a motion for consideration of the bill.
Chairman, sir, with your kind permission, I rise to move that the bill titled The Sustainable Harnessing and Advancement of Nuclear Energy for Transforming India 2025, passed by the Lok Sabha, may be taken into consideration. Thank you, Chairman, sir. Chairman, sir, it is our privilege that we are today destined to discuss this very historic bill, which is going to be a part of a landmark legislation in the history of Parliament of India. We have had an atomic program or a nuclear program which began about 6-7 decades back. At that time, there was some amount of skepticism all over the globe because Hiroshima, Nagasaki had just happened, not even a decade had passed. And many nations also started questioning India's intentions. And at that point in time, the founding father, Homi Bhabha, had declared to the world that India's nuclear program will be dedicated to peaceful purposes. I am glad to note that the moment of vindication has arrived, and vindication is happening when Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is at the helm. In 1962, the Atomic Energy Act was brought in. Subsequently, another act called the Civil Liability Nuclear 2010. In between, a regulatory board called Atomic Energy Regulatory Board was constituted. Now, first and foremost, because then I'll come out with the detailed reply at the end after listening to the honourable members, but just to briefly, in 5-10 minutes, what was the spirit behind bringing in this bill and what the need to be. In the last 10-11 years, Chairman, sir, India is fast assuming increasingly a global role for herself. India is no longer following others like it happened earlier. For example, IT happened about a decade or so earlier. Television was seen in the United States in the 1950s. And the most talked about presidential election of USA, 1960 election, where suddenly a young, handsome John Kennedy turned the tables on a veteran called Richard Nixon, was also largely determined by a TV debate. Whereas here in India, we got to see first Chitrahar in the national capital of Delhi around 1970 or so. So we are now in the first line nation. We are no longer followers. For example, if America landed a human being on the surface of the moon in 1969, called Neil Armstrong, who made that famous statement, small step for man, giant step for mankind. But they could not pick up the evidence of water being there. It was our Chandrayaan which picked up. So now we are no longer following. On the other hand, India is now offering cues for others to follow. And therefore, to live up to that role, we have to follow global strategies, live up to global benchmarks. And for the first time, after 2014, the kind of priority that is being given to the global concerns has also increased, whether the climate concern, whether the energy concerns, energy security, clean energy. You would recall that soon after Prime Minister Modi took over, in one of the earlier COP meetings, he made a pledge to the world, net zero by 2070. So carrying forward the same movement, because as we move on, the diversion would be towards the clean energy sources for a number of reasons, because the entire world is moving towards that. And that's also important for us to achieve in toto the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat, so that we become less and less dependent on the petroleum sources or the fossil sources, and therefore our share of the other sources increases. Simultaneously, the other sectors which have now come up in the last 1 decade, like, for example, the artificial intelligence, the data and the rest of the processes associated with AI, would also to a large extent require nuclear energy as a reliable 24/7 supply source, which is not so in case of several renewable energy options. In the last 10 years, much has been done to upscale, therefore, the need to upscale this sector. For example, before 2014 or 2013-14, the budget of Atomic Energy Department was just 13,879 crore, which is now increased in the current year to 37,483 crore, nearly 107.07% hike. In 2015, this government took another heroic decision and opened up the nuclear sector to joint ventures, but joint ventures limited only to the PSUs, not to the private. In 2017, for the first time in a single cabinet decision, a bulk approval was given to set up 10 reactors. And in 2025, September, just 2 months back, Honorable Prime Minister laid the foundation of 4 nuclear reactors in Rajasthan at a place called Mahi Banswara. Moreover, we also shifted to other parts of the country. Most of our reactors were earlier located on the western region or in the south. We are now coming up with a nuclear plant close to about 150 kilometers from where we are sitting right now, in a place called Gorakhpur in Haryana. And therefore, in the process, while our capacity was just about 4.7 gigawatt when this government came in 2014, now it has gone more than double to almost 8.9 gigawatt. But still, our contribution to the entire requirement generation is just about 3%. In order to scale it up and take it up to at least 10% by 2047, when India celebrates the 100th year of her independence, nuclear energy mission was launched in this budget. Announcement also was made, and later on subsequently. The important component of which was A, opening up the nuclear sector to private players, albeit with certain safeguards and other surveillance mechanisms in place. B, starting off in a mission mode, the production and development of semi-modular conductors, because we are going to need this when we have small colonies, crowded colonies, densely populated areas, and in different strength, different capacity, because usually the cutoff is 300 to 200 megawatt. Below that is their range. And we also have envisaged for ourselves an ambitious target of having at least 5 semi-modular reactors by 2033. 4 of them are already in advanced stage of being developed. So, but in spite of that, as I said, we are not at a level there we could actually achieve that target of 2070 net zero without taking some path-breaking decisions. For example, US today is 97 gigawatt with 94 reactors, and China 55 gigawatt with 57 reactors. We have 25 of them. One of them is not functional. So the decision was taken with the intention that we improve our installed capacity. We have more resources. Our gestation period reduces. Some of the avoidable embargoes are also done away with, and in the process, to accommodate the private players. Now, for that, obviously, some of the adjustments, modifications needed to be made in the existing position of law. As I said, there were 2 main acts. One was the Atomic Energy Act of 1962, the other was the CLND of 2010. In between, the Atomic Regulatory Board also was established. Now, instead of undoing all the 3 or coming up with a new version of each one of 3, what was considered prudent was to revisit all the 3 and to come out with a larger comprehensive bill, which we have tried to do, which is namely this bill, which is also now being called Shanti Bill as an acronym, and also lives up to the spirit of the peaceful purposes, because this government has hugely diversified, as it was being mentioned in the earlier question also, for cancer care, for nuclear medicine. And in this bill, we also tend to open it up for research at the other sectors, as far as the private players are concerned. And also the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, which was a regulatory board, but which has been brought in later on, somewhere in 1980s, early 1980s, by an executive order, is also now being made part of the Act and being given a statutory status. But let me also assure in the beginning that no compromise will be made with any safeguard. There were apprehensions in the CLND that the supplier was made party to the liability, which had caused some amount of reservation on the part of the investors. So that part of CLND is also being accordingly handled with and modified. It has 3 sections, A, B, C. The other 2 are being retained. B is being slightly modified in order to get over that inhibition that is faced by several potential investors. So at the end, I'll come out with a detailed reply. Thank you, Chairman, sir.
Motion moved. 4 members, namely Tiruchi Sivaji, Dr. V. Sivadasan ji, Sriman A.A. Rahim ji, and Dr. John Britas have given amendments for reference of bill to a select committee of the Rajya Sabha. Members may move the amendments at this stage without any speech. Tiruchi Siva, since the member is absent, in his absence, the amendment cannot be moved. Dr. V. Sivadasan ji.
Yes, sir. My proposal is very important, so I like to move.
Sri A.A. Rahim. The amendment is moved. Sri A.A. Rahim.
Sir, I am moving the amendment, sir.
The amendment is moved. Dr. John Britas, are you moving your amendment?
I am moving it for the safety of Indians, sir.
The amendment is moved. Yes.
I move
are you
the
moving your amendment?
I move the amendment, sir.
The amendment is moved. The motion for consideration of the sustainable harshening and advancement of nuclear energy for transforming India, Bill 2025, as passed by the Lok Sabha, and the amendments moved thereto are now open for discussion. I now call upon the members whose names have been received for participation in the discussion. Shriman Jairam Ramesh ji.
Sir.